Okay, so before we move any further into the low poly, what I want to do is just do a quick check of the high poly and the model in which we've created against my reference. I'm just going to open up my pure reference again and just have a quick once over just to make sure that I'm happy with my high poly, and then we can move on from there. So I've got on my other screen, I've got my reference images. So let's just have a look at the look from the front first. And if we come in and just try and sort of line that up a bit, so I'm pretty happy with that. In general, I think the buttons could maybe come up a little higher. Looking at this from here, they could probably be raised somewhat. But at this point, I don't really want to be affecting my high poly. It's where I want to be doing in my construction mesh more than anything. So maybe they could be raised a little bit. And we can come on, let's have a look at the top in itself. I'm not convinced that I've done the right thing here by having this inset down. So I might take that out and then just have that as like a glass panel. I think that's a pretty smooth transition there. So I think I probably made the wrong decision on that one. But generally, let's just move you out of the way for a second and go to my top view. Generally, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I just want to make sure and just check over everything, make sure that I've got it kind of how I want it. And that kind of matches up, I think, pretty well. And just have this sort of last check, make sure that you've got all the details in which you want to have. And the grill, I'm happy with the grill, we only just did that. And yeah, so I think the only thing that I want to change is on this faceplate here. So I'm just going to come in and I might just isolate this for a moment. So Control and 1. And then I'm going to hit 1 on the keyboard so it's not smoothed. And then I am going to Shift right click and separate so that I've got them into their different components once more. I'm going to just Control and 1 and Control and 1 again. So I've just got this isolated. And I think what I'm going to do is come in, isolate it in this as well. And I'm just going to get my cut tool, and I'm just going to come straight across here. And I'm going to delete all of that. And I'll take these. Well, all these edges can actually go now. So I'm just going to select all those edges, Control right click, 2 edges, edge loop and delete. Although I think that did some funny stuff somewhere down here. Okay, because it goes there. So I want to not delete that. Okay, let's just. And that's why I'm looking at it top down. It's not flat, is it? Of course. So ignore me. I'm just being delete. So instead, what I'll do is come into my top view, and I can actually just pinch these together. It doesn't matter. I can leave them as they are, but I will merge and merge the center and do that, and then hit G. G, G, G. The G is just repeating with the tool that I've just done. So I'm just merging those together to keep it a little bit neater. And then I can just take that and wipe that off. Again, it's not particularly necessary, but it just helps if we're going to, for example, take that edge and expand that down. And if I hold down V, I can just snap that to there. And we have essentially that there. What I might do is, you could mark it out, but I'm not going to, I don't need to. We'll just start on the texturing. So that's just going to be that plate there for now. That will just be flat. And then I think I want to raise these buttons up a little bit. One, four. Oh, they are there. And then let me set my vertices. Very strange. I think it's because I had multiple selected, isn't it? Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll just combine those for a second. Go to verts. Hit them there, and I'm just going to pull those up a little bit. Same height as that. I don't know. Are they? Let's just have a look. They're slightly taller, I think. No, same height. So that's level from there. I think if anything, that's a touch taller. So let's just combine those. So it's always useful just to come in and just do a final check. Make sure you're happy. I didn't hold down Shift. And I'm just going to pull those up a fraction more. And I've just noticed this bit of a gap. D and V. I think it's that middle one that's just, there we go. He's pulling in. Okay, so that is that fix. So I will take all these elements once more. And I will combine them and make sure I haven't got anything else selected. Okay, I'm just going to combine those back again and hit 3 on the keyboard. Make sure that everything is still looking okay and haven't accidentally done anything. And okay, so I am happy with that. Although I will need to redo this for the high poly. So I will just hide this for a moment, bring back in the high poly. Hang on. But this is now outside of this group. So I just want to right click and add selected objects and delete my history. And then I can hide that for a moment, bring this back. And then with the high poly, I can delete that and these. And then I want that to be out of this group. So remove selected objects, hide the construction mesh, delete all these other elements that I don't need. So then essentially I've just got these, and I can set this back without accidentally lift it. There we go. Back to 0. So that is now in place, and I can separate those if I particularly want to, and then re-smooth. So this is one of the reasons why it's particularly good. So what I will do is just so it smooths a bit nicer. It's particularly good to always have your construction mesh so that you can come back in. Oops, I've just smoothed the wrong thing. Anyway, you can come back in and edit your construction mesh far easier than if I wanted to come in and edit my high poly. So there's a reason. I'll just undo that. A reason as to why we might work in this way. So I want to make sure that I've got just this one, and then I want to smooth. Maybe do 3 divisions. 1, 2, 4. And I'm going to combine those. Smooth. Maybe 3 divisions as well. Make sure that they are in the gaps, which they are. So then I can take this and then assign existing material and display plate, and then take that and then existing material and buttons. So now we've got our high reworked just ever so slightly to match more akin to what I want with the reference. So I'm going to save this out. First, select everything with my high poly. And I'm going to select my pivot, delete my history, freeze transformations. And just make sure that it's all within, which I don't know if it will be. No. So right click and selected objects. There we go. Turn that off, bring this back, and we're there.